Dover Motor Speedway, the Concrete Mile.
Let's go get them today. Long race.
This is one of the most physically challenged tracks that we have.
Battle all day. Gotta be perfect all the way through this thing.
The Monster. It is always a challenging racetrack to get around.
Always been a car eater.
Not spun out on my own off before. Man, I'm just trying to survive.
This monster will bite you if you're not careful.
I got a problem here. Oh my God. Caution, caution, caution. I don't know what you got, but give me everything.
It will chew you up, spit you out, punch you right in the nose.
Oh! To be hitting me. Something's driving straight. All corners are bent.
It's crazy at Dover. The most intense ride in NASCAR.
Do our job, and we'll come out on top.
It's just such a tough racetrack.
Execution day today.
And here we go.
Welcome to this week's episode of Around the Track. I'm Kim Coon alongside Ryan Flores, and we are headed to your home track.
Oh yeah, it's nice to get away from Talladega. We didn't have a great day with the 12 team, and I watched my Stacking Pennies co-host and buddy Corey LaJoy flip across the start-finish line.
Wall.
So I'm ready to get to Dover, Delaware. Yes, my home track, close to the Jersey Shore where I grew up, and get back to some regular racing for a little while.
Well, it's a home race for Ryan. I don't know about you guys, but whether you're headed there or you're going to be watching from home, we're going to get you ready with everything on and off the racetrack.
To start getting ready, let's take a look at this weekend's schedule and what we have on tap. If we look at the schedule, we see the ARCA cars get us fired up Friday at 5 p.m., Xfinity Saturday at 1:30, and the Worth 400 Sunday 2 p.m. We're in the Worth car this weekend with the 12.
That's
so
good synergy.
Yeah, excited to get there with that. But starting off, this is always a big race for the ARCA cars, the ARCA East. I remember winning this race with Corey back in the day, K&N East. It's always one we had scheduled or circled on our schedule, but the Xfinity guys, Dash for Cash, they got this one circled as well.
It's their last Dash for Cash weekend. Congrats to Ryan Sieg. He won the $100,000 bonus last week, but he's going to be joined by Anthony Alfredo, who had a great run at Talladega, as well as Riley Herbst and then Jesse Love completing out the 4 drivers who will compete for the last $100,000. We want to congrats to Jesse Love, though. We spotlighted him last week, and then he ends up in victory lane.
Yeah, and shout out to Erica. We'll talk to her later. She's picking Tyler Reddick. Another guy that'll be in the field this weekend, Carson Kvapil.
Yep.
And in the Cup field, 7-time champ Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, 7-time champ and 11-time Dover winner. So we know Jimmy loves the Monster Mile, but let's see what other drivers say about the 1-mile concrete track.
I love Dover. It's so fast. I love the feeling, though. There's not many places you're watching practice. If you're the Group B and the first round of guys go by and you're like, holy moly, I'm about to do that. So I love that little bit of nervousness feeling you get at Dover because how fast it is.
Dover, I think, is an amazing racetrack. In my opinion, one of the best, just because it's very unique. You know, it's one of a kind. There is nothing similar to Dover.
Well, it's concrete, 1 mile, high bank, bumpy, slick, fast. It's just one of those places where like your heart rate gets up and it's hard to relax there. So I enjoy places like that.
Practice gets underway Saturday at 10:30, followed by qualifying and the race 2 p.m. again on FS1 on Sunday. But as Corey LaJoy mentioned there at the beginning of that, practice is always so exciting here. It's your fastest laps on the racetrack all weekend when it's green. And you're, like he said, you're sitting there. I know everybody in the Cup garage is kind of sitting there and watch those guys.
Waiting to see who takes the track first.
And you barrel off into one, the fastest you're going to be all weekend. So you got to pull the belts extra tight and hold your breath for a lap or two. Everybody mentioned this place is super fast.
Yeah, super fast, and that's why qualifying is going to be so important. It's a track position race. I know we say qualifying is important every week, especially this weekend at Dover. And then it's a roller coaster. That's how all the drivers seem to describe this track. You mentioned very fast, very violent, and so it's physically and mentally challenging.
Super intense, and that's for Kyle Larson to talk about how you don't get any chance to relax here. You know, him with all his accomplishments in sprint cars and all these crazy racetracks and crazy race cars around the country. When he talks about this place being intense, you know it's going to be a good weekend.
Yeah, it's definitely survival of the fittest, and last year it was Martin Truex Jr. surviving the Monster Mile.
Big crowd here today at Dover. They are ready to go.
All right, boys, have a good one in there.
Green flag is in the air.
Track position is going to be key. Yeah, very hard to pass this racetrack.
Corner, clear. There you go. Drive away.
Trouble, car spinning right by the front stretch. Oh!
I am out of control.
Blaney sends it into turn 3. Chastain makes the pass from second.
Still in there. Coming to the checker here, baby. Hell yeah.
Monday is for Martin and Dover. Martin Truex wins the Worth 400.
Awesome job, guys. Thank you, man.
It's time to welcome in our resident sports betting analyst, Erica Davis, for Easy Money with E. And she did that for you last week, got you some easy money with her race pick, Tyler Reddick. I cannot believe it. Great job with the Talladega bets last weekend.
Last week, the week before, Kim, we have been winning money. And interestingly enough, when I talked about Tyler Reddick last week, I was like, oh, this is my gut feeling. So if you don't want to trust your gut, trust my gut, because my gut will win you some money.
And you won money last week. So where are we putting that money this week?
So, Kim, I am excited to start off with a cross-sport parlay. We're going to do a two-leg parlay on the NFL and on NASCAR. The NFL draft is this week. This Thursday is when it starts. So we're going to put some money on Jaden Daniels to be the second overall pick. And then the NASCAR side of this two-leg parlay is going to be Martin Truex Jr. to finish in the top 10. Now, guys, you remember that for a parlay to cash in, both legs or all the legs have to actually win for you to cash your bet. The reason I'm going Jaden Daniels as the number 2 overall pick is because in the past, 4 or 5 days, his odds to go number 2 have shortened considerably. And then with MTJ, we know he won this race last year. So a $10 bet on this two-leg parlay would win you a total of $16.73. Make sure you watch the NFL draft on Thursday to see if the first part of our parlay hits. And then, of course, we're all going to be watching the race on Sunday. So
I love it. A monster bet for a monster weekend. And with that, let's get into the best bets for Dover, the Monster Mile. Who are you looking at?
So my best bets are going to be Alex Bowman as a top 3 finisher, William Byron as a top 5 finisher, and then Kyle Larson as a top 10 finisher. Let's start off with Bowman. Kim, Alex Bowman at plus 450, I think is a steal. I mean, he's run so well at Dover. I cannot believe his odds are that long as a top 3 finisher. But you know what? We're going to take it. $10 will win you a total of $55 if and when Bowman ends up finishing in the top 3. We have Byron next as a top 5 finisher. I always talk about how he has a hot hand this year. And I also always talk about how I'm typically like backing Denny Hamlin in some way, shape, or form. But girl, I am starting to feel the same way about Byron. Like, I feel like I need to back him every week in some capacity. So Byron to be a top 5 finisher plus 100 will win you a total of $20. And then Larson, I mean, at minus 425, I feel like this is a gimme. We pick at Larson for being not the best driver at super speedway. So just give him a little bit of grace for his last week at Dega. But this week, Monster Mile, more up his alley. Take him in the spot. And if you want a little bit more value, even take him at plus 500 to be an outright winner.
Well, Hendrick Motorsports historically very good at Dover, so all good choices. And you know, with Talladega in the rearview mirror, we are officially a quarter of the way through the 2024 season, so it feels like a really good time to check in on some future bets.
Yeah, so Kim, futures bets can be fun because you hold the ticket all year long, or you can cash it in if you want to cash it in beforehand. But there are several drivers whose odds I've been tracking, and I want to look at Hamlin, Byron, Chase Elliott, and Ty Gibbs. All of these drivers have odds that have gotten shorter throughout the season, which means basically they have become more likely to win the Cup Championship Series. Now, Byron and Hamlin, I personally would put a little bit of money on their championship futures right now for obvious reasons. They both gotten into victory lane already. Chase Elliott, can't lie, I'm going to have to fade him in this spot. But Ty Gibbs, Kim, I'm really, really loving how Ty Gibbs' odds have moved this season. He's gotten as short as plus 1,800. So if you put a little bit of money on him now, a $10 bet will win you a total of $190. I say lock in on Ty right now, because once he starts running more consistently up front, once he gets a win, because I think he will, and then once he gets maybe a top 3, top 5 finish more consistently, those plus 1,800 odds are going to get shorter. So get in on Ty right now.
Awesome information, Erica. Thanks for helping us cash in each and every week, and we will see you next week for Kansas. And don't forget to pack your ruby red slippers.
Hey guys, I'm Corey the Joy Driver, the number 7 car, joined my buddy Ryan Flores. Every week we stack some pennies.
talk about NASCAR Cup Series right out of my windshield.
Plus, we'll give out the dogs of the week for the best pit crews and pit crew guys from the weekend. We'll break down all the money stops, all the woes, get into some technical issues, and we'll also answer all of your hashtag Penny for Your Thoughts questions.
And we have a ton of guests. Sometimes SVG pops by. We got Raja. We have all sorts of guys. You never know who's going to pop in the Nonsense Garage, but make sure you tune in. SiriusXM on Tuesdays, YouTube on Wednesdays, wherever you find your podcast on Wednesdays as well. Come stack pains with us.
A lot of drivers will tell you they like Dover, but if they're going to be good at Dover, there's lots of things to keep in mind. So what's the top of the checklist for you to keep your eye on when you're racing the Monster Mile?
The thing you'll be hearing all weekend is about the rubber on the racetrack. These concrete tracks, they tend to take rubber when the cars are under green flag conditions. The rubber will get put down on the racetrack, and then the minute the caution comes out, the hot tires and the cars slow down, they peel the rubber right back up. So you have to do different things. The crew chiefs will have to adjust during green flag stops when the track is rubbered up, or at the stage end under a caution when the track gets green again. They'll have to do different things and stay on top of their race car all day.
Well, they also have to keep in mind, like if their driver's screaming about something, they have to factor in, well, is this the rubber causing this issue or is it the actual car? But inevitably, the crew chiefs are so smart, somebody will figure it out and figure out how to win this weekend at Dover. But the other thing we have to keep in mind, it's very narrow, the track surface. It's very fast. So if you get in a wreck and you hit the outside wall, it usually shoots you right back down the track. So it's very easy to get caught up in somebody else's mess.
Yeah, it's a tough place to navigate, and we see these guys, especially on restarts, get together off of two. Seen some big wrecks back there. But one guy that knows how to navigate this place, and he's going to take us for a lap around this track. It's his home track, and he's got 4 miles of Monsters Trophy. It's Mayetta, New Jersey's own Martin Truex.
Yeah, Dover, they call it a monster for a reason. It's a beast, just thinking about the bank straightaways and then how you just sail off the straightaway and land down in the corner with all that banking and all that G-force that's loading you up. And then, the corners are super wide, so you're just in the banking a long, long time. And then you come up out of the hole, up onto the straightaway, and the car gets light and almost, kind of jumps off the ground. Just a wild place. It's very, very demanding on the car and the driver. And, as far as like tracks that feel fast, Dover feels really fast because you're so on edge and you have all that banking and speed through the corners.
So Martin kind of mentioned it, but the transitions in and out of the corners are so drastic at Dover. Kind of slings you up out of the corner onto the straightaways only to dump you back down. So you have to be on your toes the entire race. And another transition that's hard is pit road. You have to commit in turn 3 before entry in turn 4. Really hard under green.
Yeah, and from the banking to the flat, we see a lot of speeding penalties there. And then once you get to pit road, it's super tight from the pit wall all the way to the outside wall. It's one of the tightest pit roads we go to. A lot of action down there. This is a place with a lot of vertical load. So maybe if you don't get your wheel all the way tight, there's some tracks that are a little bit more forgiving on that. You might be able to run the whole run until you come back in. This is not that place. Everything's got to be tight and right when you pit, and if you have to re-pit under green, your day is over. So Dover, very unforgiving.
Something else that can maybe not end your day, but throw a wrench in things is speeding penalties. We always see them at Dover, especially under green flag conditions, because the track is so fast and then the pit road speed's so slow relative to the speeds they are going during the race.
Yeah, this is a place where you cannot put yourself behind, but it's also a place where you're going to have fast pit stops. We talked about how crazy the restarts are. So the better pit stop you can have, if you can jump a couple rows for that choose, that'll just set you up for success later on in the day. And I've seen teams here, be a 8th or 10th place car, and boop, 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 they get themselves out 8th, out 6th, out 5th, and then all of a sudden they're fighting for the win. So this is a place where you can, as a pit crew guy, you can definitely affect the outcome of your day positively or negatively. So you want to definitely be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Speaking of setting up for success, we're going to set you up for fantasy success. It's our fantasy picks for this weekend at the Monster Mile. So let's start with must-haves. Maybe not necessarily somebody that's going to win it, but somebody that could win or get you a lot of points.
Yeah, I'm staying on the Martin Truex train. We've heard a lot about him, and we're talking about him a lot this weekend for a reason, not just because it's home track, not just because he's had so much success here, but that JGR team has had across the board so much speed. So it's Martin Truex Jr. for me.
I got to go with MTJ as well. You mentioned the 4 wins, but not only that, he's finished top 2 in 5 of the last 7 races. And as we talk about guys that can earn you points, he's got 4 stage wins at Dover. So that is just banking the points.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I, talk about keeping somebody in the bank, who is your person that you're keeping on your garage this weekend?
Okay. For me, it's Kyle Larson. He's a former Dover winner. The reason I'm keeping him in the garage and I don't want to use him outright is, he can be good everywhere, typically, and so I don't know that I want to use up a Kyle Larson use, but I want the opportunity to slide him in there if he's doing well. And I just don't know. We know Larson's good at Dover. He's led 899 laps, most at any track, but he's still down a couple of crew members. And we just talked about how important pit road is. And so how are they going to gel this weekend at a very challenging pit road?
So a little fun fact, he did take some crew members from the 7 team. That's their backup
Yeah.
team, and they are very good. So they should seamlessly fit in there. But like you said, it's a different group of guys. For me, I'm staying in the Hendrick stable, but I'm going Alex Bowman. He has great stats here. The only reason I'm not putting him in my starting lineup and keep him in the garage, you can usually see how this 48 team is going to run after the first stage. They if they're fast, they're a solid team and they're fast all day. If they start slow, they usually stay in the back. So Alex Bowman, I'm not going to start him, but I'm going to keep him ready to go because I think he does have great, like I said, great numbers.
He might be feeling
Dover.
the pressure too, because he's the only Hendrick car that hasn't won yet this season.
Yeah, and all the Hendrick teams have been fast, and that 48 team is no different. Another person that was fast last year, when we look back to the Xfinity race, we're talking a lot of Truexes, but this is Ryan Truex. Let's take a look back at his big win here last year.
Parker Klickerman leads them to the green flag.
And there's the 19.
Crossover. Still clearing.
Truex wins it, the hometown driver.
There's no defending the 19.
Parker Klickerman caught the wall.
Nice parting gifts. Stage 2 to the 19. Ryan Truex.
Here comes Sheldon Creed, and he's sideways.
White flag, one more.
Leading 120-plus laps, and he's going to finish the deal. First career victory for Ryan Truex. It comes at Dover.
So the Truex brothers sweeping Dover in the Cup and Xfinity Series last year. Here's a look at some of Ryan Truex's career highlights. 2-time East Series champ. That's now the ARCA Menard Series. But we have to remember, he's been around for a while. He's been in the game for a long time.
Yeah, Ryan Truex, he's been a journeyman. He's had a journeyman career, and he's found a home here part-time at Gibbs this year. And I think everybody was super excited for him last year to win this race. I think we all remember the heartbreaker when he was leading this race, I don't know, 8-10 years ago, and Joey Logano got by him late in the race. But Ryan Truex is probably one of my favorite people, and not just race car drivers, and everybody was pumped up for him. We know that he can do it. He just had to be in the right situation. He found himself there last year, and we'll see if he can double down at his home track.
Yeah, fan favorite win, an industry favorite win. I don't know anybody that was upset last year that he made it to victory lane, and it was so well deserved. And it was his first Xfinity Series win, which is hard to believe because he's been so close so many times, and it just seems like bad luck hits when he's performing the best.
Yeah, and he worked through that, and he's taken his lumps and done what he's had to do to stay around, and everybody, like we said, is super excited to see him have success, and I hope for continued success for him now that he's back with Toyota. And another person that's with Toyota, one of the young TRD drivers making his first start at Dover for Venturini Motorsports this weekend, is Gio Ruggiero. Gio has been tearing up the super late model ranks with his Donnie Wilson number 22 car. They've won all kinds of races, and he won the first ARCA East race this year at Five Flags Speedway. He's got a super exciting career for the Massachusetts native.
Yeah, young guy, 19 years old, a rising star for sure. And I know Venturini, they're really looking at him this season as kind of the flagship guy. And you think about the pairing that he has with Shannon Rush. Shannon has led drivers to so much success. Look what he did last year with Jesse Love. So I think the sky is high for Gio, but there's just some learning curves. You always have to figure out your first year.
Absolutely, but it's really exciting to see the kids that TRD is bringing up. We talk about Jesse Love, Corey Heim. The list is long, and for him to be in that program and in a Venturini car, they obviously think pretty highly of him as well.
Yeah, so Gio and the rest of the ARCA drivers will entertain us on track on Friday, but the entertainment is limitless all weekend long on and off the racetrack. So let's talk about some things that fans can enjoy if they go to Dover.
There is a ton going on in the Midway this weekend. It is crazy. And some of the things that caught my eye, micro professional wrestling, monster truck rides you can bring. There's just so much going on. I'm a sucker because I have little kids, right?
Yeah,
So
little kids will enjoy the world's largest rubber duck. You've got the monster, Miles the Monster, who's giant in the fan zone. Now you're going to have a rubber duck that's big too. I'm curious to see how big the rubber duck is compared to Miles.
Yeah, and they have a little farm petting zoo. Yeah. It's a place where I always get upset when I go there and I don't have the kids with me. I'm like, man, I wish I came up a day early and brought Harper. But if you want to check out everything that Dover has to offer, you can go to doverspeedway.com.
All right, it's time. Each and every week, the white flag, it's waving. I've got some trivia for you.
A little nugget.
A little nugget. All right, what's Dover's nickname?
The Monster Mile.
The Monster Mile, that is correct. But When it first changed from asphalt to concrete, it was known by a different nickname. Do you know what it is?
Ooh,
You're from this area.
I do not have any idea.
Okay.
You got a hint?
It strikes.
Ooh, lightning?
There's a little more to it.
Delaware lightning? I don't know. What
White
was it?
lightning.
White lightning. Okay, yeah, that makes sense because it is. It's kind of. I don't know. It's weird when you look at it because there's not much color around the whole racetrack, especially when the walls are white. So I'm excited to get there this weekend and get to compete. This is like the first of a crazy 10-week stretch for pit crews. It's going to be just all out from here all the way through the summer. So I'm ready to get to Dover and get going.
Luck.
Hey, thanks so much.
The crew, if they win, they get a mini miles.
I have. Yep, I have. Yep, I have a couple at the house. So it's always.
You should have brought them in. We could have put them on the table.
Dang it, opportunity missed. But hopefully we'll win one this week and we'll get ready to head on to Kansas.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us this week for Around the Track. We hope you enjoy all the action from Dover.
That's it.